John Lennon said, "Strawberry Fields Forever" was psychoanalysis set to music. It's hard to think of another Beatles track that has inspired, mesmerized, and enchanted as many as Strawberry Fields has. The song may have been released in 1967, but its origins go all the way back to John Lennon's childhood. Near where John lived, there was a Salvation Army children's home with the name Strawberry Fields. John and his friends would often explore the grounds as they became wild and overgrown during the summer, imagining and pretending many adventures and fantasies. There would also be a summer garden party hosted there every year. John's Aunt Mimi would say that whenever John heard the band, he'd start getting all excited and tell her that they were going to be late. Many years later, John began reflecting on these memories while filming How I Won the War. He wrote the song between filming over the course of about 6 weeks. The song is completely introspective, so much so that Lennon said that this and Help were the only songs he wrote from his own point of view. Additionally, he was experimenting with LSD at the time. This led him to question his existence in the song with lines like, "No one I think is in my tree." He said that, "What I was trying to say in that line, nobody seems to be as hip as me. Therefore, I must be crazy or a genius." The Beatles had decided to stop doing tours to focus entirely on studio work. This allowed them to explore more musically and lyrically. The first project they decided to tackle was Strawberry Fields. The song was like a collective art project. John began with just a simple guitar demo, and as the sessions continued, they added more and more. Among them was the addition of the Mellotron, which had been shown to the group by Mike Pinder of Moody Blues. He said that in introducing the early synthesizer to the band, "I knew that I would be rewarded, and the first time I heard Strawberry Fields, I was in bliss. It was the closest thing to recording with them." Demos were made, scrapped, recut, remade, everything, and the group kept adding more and more to the track. John never cared for his voice, and continually asked George Martin to alter it. Many of these early versions and takes would be released either on anthology or the deluxe sets of Sgt. Pepper. Speaking of Sgt. Pepper, the group had always intended this track to be part of that record, but the studio wanted a release, so this was chosen. Eventually they got it down to 2 takes that John was happy with. He liked the beginning of one and the ending of another. He suggested to George Martin to splice the 2 together. The problem was, though, that they were in different tempos and different musical keys. According to Martin, with the grace of God and a bit of luck, he was able to pull it off. All in all, it took roughly a month and a total of 55 hours in the studio to bring it all together. They created a surrealist promotional film for the song. It was shot by Peter Goldman and was filmed in Knoll Park. While filming, John bought a vintage circus poster that would inspire him to create Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. In February of 1967, the song was released as a double A-side with Penny Lane. Fan and critical reaction was mixed. This was mainly due to it being so different than anything the group had released before. However, it would go on to become one of the definitive examples of psychedelic rock and art. Later on in years, George Martin met with John Lennon not long before he was killed. At dinner, John said, "If I could, I would record everything we did again." George replied, "We did some great stuff. What about Strawberry Fields?" John looked over his glasses and said, "Especially Strawberry Fields." Who knows what we would have got had John got his wish. Later, John's memorial in New York would be named Strawberry Fields. Each version that's been released has its own value and merits, and everyone has their favorites. I really do like them all, but I think my favorite is the one from Love. The way it begins with just John counting in and singing while playing the acoustic. It continues to build and build until it's this beautiful psychedelic experience. In a way, it tells the story of the song's creation. One last piece of trivia. At the end of the song, you can hear a distorted voice say something. This is John, and some fans looking for dead Paul clues said that he said, "I buried Paul." In reality, it's John saying, "cranberry sauce." And I can't think of a better way to end this video. Special thanks to Dre1033 for suggesting this topic. If you have a video that you'd like to see, a song, an album, a topic, whatever it may be, even if it's not Beatle related, please let me know by leaving a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, and I will see you guys next time.